That internationally, via these new technologies, that we can communicate with people from other cultures and things like that. I do have a problem thinking about the economic part of this whole situation, and basically, you look at what was made in the USA in late 1800s, early 1900s, up into the automobile era. I would say that Americans had a general pride factor that, hey, we made things in America and they were made to last. Now we're exporting all of our basically all of our jobs to like China and things like that, whereas we could have jobs here in America, and it's affecting the people's lives here in America by this interaction of two, global superpowers now. And the more we, develop as a society, it seems as if the more cultures are brought in, and we're exporting jobs to Mexico and other countries that instead of keeping them here and keeping, the money flowing within the system.
So I do understand what you're saying. In essence, it's outsourcing and all of these things. Now, this is leading to the next situation I was saying. The American way is business. The question is business. He who owns the business forms its policies. Okay? I seem to be getting another call from one of our other people, but it's a little late because we're on the air now. The situation is that why I bring that up is because what we're talking about now, there's a lot of programs, end of the end of the world type programs on the internet, and they're talking about situations. They talk about the Jewish people and all of this and et cetera. So I have a question in essence that's relating to that, and I want to. This should lead us into a lot of other subjects that's similar to that. Just hold on. Here we go. Because religion plays a big part for African Americans, could not some Jews of Christ's time have had theological descendants? One would be those who were believers in Christ, who represented the so-called social rejects. And another one, those who opposed Jesus' teachings and were untouched by poverty. In Luke 4:18, Jesus is disowned in his hometown. And despite the Isaiah 61, 1 and 2 verse of the messianic, of the prophecy of the Messiah, or of chapter 48, 17 verse 16, or the 49th chapter, 55th verse, 6 verses, about the Messiah being a light to the Gentiles. Now, there were many Jewish people in Christ's time that opposed bringing the words of Jesus to people they called Gentiles. But Isaiah was talking about doing, that was his purpose. Okay? So when you feel uncomfortable about, whether you really should believe in Jesus and all that, it says it back then that his word or his message was meant for all people. And in Acts, we talk about his line coming from the line of David. Yet the same people today, they remain opposed to the idea of Jesus being the Messiah. Now, the reason why I'm bringing that up is not to pose a religious question or start a religious discussion per se, but I am saying that to say that a lot of the end of the world individuals, they talk about hate. They talk about this thing with Jesus, connection with Jesus Christ. They talk about the Jewish people. There's two sets of Jews: the Jews that are okay, and then the Jewish people that are not okay, who are the ones who crucified, and we have to say the ones who crucified Jesus were those Pharisees types and Sadducee types folks, high priests and all of them. So that was a separate category. There really was, okay? And in the process of doing this, we got a situation where if they were rich then, they would be rich. Some of them would be rich now, or they would have. When the dispersion happened of the Jewish people from the Palestine area, whatever, they would have taken a lot of wealth with them too, in migrating to other countries. So the wealthy stayed wealthy in essence. Okay, they were able to finance themselves into other businesses and now whatever. Okay, so now. What they are, see, these people are talking from the standpoint of the taking of this of vaccinations against of swine flu and all of that. But what my question is regarding martial law. This is what they're really pointing at: martial law. And then my question is, would a paid professional army of mercenaries serve better to obey orders, say murdering the citizens of a country or like ours, than, you know, they're getting big bonuses to join the military these days, a lot of big money, compared to when I was in and we made $120 a month. But we were there on the basis of our belief in our country and our honor. We fought for that factor. These people are fighting for money, okay? So would they be less hesitant to gun down based on being paid, this is how they make their money, than a person of honor? Is there a danger? Is there a danger in that whole concept, is my question.
Yeah, there's a danger. I mean, I know that a lot of people these days that are in gangs simply go to the military just for the training. They drop out and use that training to help their gang activity. I mean, and it's kind of going back to the Machiavellian beliefs, you know, that you can't trust the soldiers which you pay for.
Anyone else have anything to comment on that?
I think really people go to the army, not like you say, not for their country, but more for a check. Like, I know it been times like when I come on hard times, people tell me, well, just go to the army, go to the service. Why? So I can just take care of myself. And like people say the stories, oh yeah, you know what I'm saying, gonna give you get out, you can go to school for free, probably the best thing I heard. Go to school for free, you get a car, you can get a crib and everything. That'd be the good side, but I worry about like the bad side. Like I see people that's been homeless, people like their legs cut off, they wheelchairs and been to the service, but they homeless. Like what you talking about? Like people that's starving, like that's on the streets, but they went to the service. Like what did they do different from the other person that went to the service? Like
they just ran into some bad luck, and that's all it takes. And there's not enough groups set up for people like that who lose their legs, where you set up getting this guy a car, getting him transportation, getting him a job. There's not enough groups set up for, you know, our soldiers to make it, you know, passionate. Back during the Civil War, Revolutionary War,
they was fighting for a cause.
They had a cause. Our army these days, we don't even know the enemy we're fighting. We're risking our lives, and like you said, it's more for the money. We need to restore the national pride, but that adds another question: how do we do that?
Good point, Peter. And you hit on half of the problem. That's why I jumped in. You hit on the physical problem. What happens if they lose their legs or lose an arm or lose a limb? But there are many soldiers coming back with
Post-traumatic.
Exactly. And Jeremy, that hits on your question. They come back homeless because of what they seen or what they had to do when they were over there. Then they did that because they were following orders, maybe to get paid, as you said. But then when they go to sleep at night, they see that. They have the nightmare. And then when they get back here, all they can do is relive and relive that nightmare, and it becomes impossible for them to hold a job, impossible for them to react normally and interact normally with their families. And if they can't, if the VA or the medical hospital is overrun, which happens a lot now because we're fighting two wars, got thousands and thousands of soldiers coming back. The medical system can't handle them all. Some of them unfortunately slip through the cracks, and that's who you see. That's who you see on the street. Those that slip through the cracks and can't get the help they need. So yes, the physical injuries are a big part of it, but I just wanted to make sure we didn't forget the soldiers that had the mental unseen injuries as well.
And I'm glad you caught that because that is a huge problem. I agree with that. And those are even harder to detect because you can't necessarily see them with your own eyes.
Until they explode, like.
Absolutely, especially similar to Vietnam Agent Orange. That was
Yeah.
something that was,
I also had another
concerned as
point.
well.
Like, it's more like a theory, but I was thinking like with Afghanistan, we went over there and invaded Afghanistan. Like, I don't know the true cause for it. I don't know like for I was trying to answer back for September 11. But I was wondering like how we physically like with guns going over there, but at the same time they come like you see Afghanistan. It's like not Afghanistan, but people like Iraq. They are here. I feel like so while we go out there and say we trying to fight a war with something, but at the same time they are here, but at the same time they making money here better than like any one of us because they own businesses in our hood.
Right. Osama bin Laden owned a part of Motorola.
Behind the rhetoric, what do the local, national, and international governments have to do with the control of organized crime?
They have little, but they should have a lot. And
Well, see, let me read a little bit of what.
They are the biggest gang. They are the.
It's
Let
organized
me
crime,
read a
but-
little what turned up on my research. This term can be defined. Now, this is according to this is the Nathanson Center for the Study of Organized Crime and Corruption. It's